Good morning, Patriots. How you doing today? This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from the downtown metropolis, and I'm live on all the channels because it's Friday. And that video was the Senate in Mexico going to blows over whether or not to allow Donald Trump to send in the U.S. military to take care of the cartels. On one side, you had the ones that like, Viva Mexico, let's free Mexico from the cartels and allow Donald Trump to do the dirty work for us. On the other side are all the ones paid off by the cartels going, you can't interfere with my gravy train. And they were going to blows. I mean, that was almost a Filipino Senate or parliament, whatever they have in the Filipinos. Yeah, in the Philippines, they get out canes and stuff and start beating each other. Oh, one of these days, we may actually see that on our Senate floor. I'm just saying. Most of them are too old to move around like that. But, you know, I digress. It's, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. But this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it because God is good all the time, and all the time he is good. And the word of the day brought to us by Marine in the Woods is, as given by the Lord, is Jude. Hey, Jude 1 through 12. That's Jude 1 through 12. Make sure you crack open the Bible, see what God has for you today. Make sure you ask the Holy Spirit to interpret for you, because if no one explains, how can you understand? Oops, wrong button. Sorry about that. All righty then. The weather, you guys are talking about the weather in the chat room. The weather, by the way, oh my God, another cold front is on its way down for much of the Labor Day weekend. It won't be big temperature drops, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Panic. I know it comes to a shock. It comes to shock to people. I know it's like the 29th of August, and this may shock you, but winter starts, or not winter, excuse me, fall starts next month. I know, shock. And like, it happens like this every year. Maybe not this week, maybe it's next week or the week after, but it happens like this every year. The cold from Canada up there at Aaron's place starts coming in down here, crossing the border illegally into the lower 48. Every year. I mean, I know it's shocking. But I'm going to tell you, get ready for it. They've been talking about how hot the summer's been, but they're about to change, and it's going to be how cold it is in December, January, February. It's going to, sometime in January and February, it's going to be the coldest it has been since that time last year. And some places are going to get a lot of snow, and some places are not. Some places that usually get a lot of snow are not going to get a lot of snow. And some places that usually get a lot of snow are going to get a lot of snow. And some places that don't get snow at all are going to get a little bit of snow. And some places that don't get snow at all aren't going to get any snow. Like Miami, San Diego. I mean, just saying. But we're going to panic over it like we do everything else. Like we do everything else, we're going to panic. Because that's what we do. We're Americans. And we gotta be able to con money out of you somehow. Besides that, we're printing it out of nothing and taxing the living crap out of you and taking it from your property and taking it from your cars and taking it every which way they can, taxing you. Besides that, we got to find other ways to get money out of you because it just ain't enough. It just ain't enough money. We want more money because that's what this is all about. This is about money. That's what it's all about. I done went too far. Trying to find a post. So there's some news coming out about the shooter. There's news coming out about the Fed lady, Lisa Cook. Here is director of he's one of the investigators, one of the mortgage fraud directors of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, whatever he is. He says, consistent with my responsibility to ensure safe and sound housing market, I'm submitting another criminal referral today for mortgage fraud. Like so many other mortgage fraud cases, this one involves bank fraud and wire fraud. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So what's that all about? Well, let's kind of dig into this a little bit. I got to find the post here real quick. It's going to take a second. I got a lot to sort through here in my unorganized posting system, and I'm also out of order of what I was planning on doing, so that's even better. Here it is right here. So Democrat Fed Governor Lisa Cook has confessed to mortgage errors on her mortgage claims following a mortgage fraud criminal referral by Bill Paul. She refuses to be fired. She wants to retain her seat, but she's made some errors on her mortgage. Some mistakes, as they say. Some oopsie daisies on her mortgage fraud. And of course, the Democrats, the usual suspects, are out there upset that Donald Trump would play these political games with the Fed. Don't you know? It's terrible that Donald Trump would do something like this. Speaking of, here's CNBC with Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, with 0.00001%, according to the DNA test of Native American in her, but she still went to college for free.
And now we're on the third episode of Go After the Fed, and that is to claim that he's firing Lisa Cook. So, it's all attacks on the Fed. And I don't have to remind people on this program, of all places, we undermine the independence of the Fed and politicize it. Then that undercuts our economy and confidence in our economy, not just with investors here in the United States, but worldwide. Countries that do this, look at a country like Turkey, where a strong man takes over the central bank and they end up with 80% inflation. That's not the place that the United States wants to go. We are the gold standard because of that Fed independence. And all of us, wherever you are politically, should be there to defend the independence of the Fed and say no to Donald Trump on this.
So Fed claims to be fired. No, Liz, sweetheart, let me speak to you in your language. That what I said there, translate what I said there. Where in the Constitution does it give authority for the Fed? Oh, wait. You show me that. The Fed is either under the executive branch or it doesn't exist. So he's in control of it. Whether you like it or not, he's in control of it. And some people don't like it. Some people do. It is what it is. By the way, the stock market is down this morning. NASDAQ's down 129. Dow Jones is down 64. But gold is trading at 34.77 and silver is at 39.1. Just saying. Just pointing that out in case you wanted to know. I know I got another Fed thing here somewhere. I got another Fed. Oh, yeah. That's that. Okay. Yep. This one right here. This is the one I was looking for. Talking about how the British are very upset that we might be messing with the Fed.
Donald Trump just fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, and the British press has lost it. Their headlines range from angst over the threat to the independence of the Fed to pleas that we should pray for the markets. Their articles warn that this undermines the foundations of democracy and prove
we don't need prayers.
Of course, all stems from the fact that you're supposed to believe that unelected bankers making decisions behind closed doors are the key to our democracy and economic stability. But Donald Trump's challenge to the Fed is the opposite from an attack on democracy. It's an assault on London's premier economic weapon, the central banking system. And yesterday's extraordinary cabinet meeting made clear he is establishing something new, the Hamiltonian principle that the wealth of a nation lies in its workers and producers. Listen to how he opened the cabinet meeting.
I want to thank you all for being here as we prepare to celebrate Labor Day, when we honor the incredible hardworking men and women of our country, which is doing very well, I have to tell you. Every policy of the Trump administration is designed to lift up the American worker, promote great paying blue collar jobs, and to rebuild the industrial bedrock of our nation.
Now, the content of that cabinet meeting is as much of a threat to the empire as Trump's Federal Reserve firing. Throughout it, Trump's cabinet challenged core elements of British economic liberalism, free trade, green insanity, and the degradation of society in general. The event was capped by Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins' pronouncement that Trump is leading a third American revolution. I'm Susan Kokinda, and the revival of American economics has been my passion for 50 years, and it's the mission of our Promethean movement. If you've been enjoying these videos and find them educational, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you know anyone who is political and would like our behind-the-scenes take on this, please share and help us increase our outreach. So in this week's update, I'm going to show you first just how panicked the British financial establishment is over Trump's Fed challenge. Second, what went on in one of the most amazing cabinet meetings in recent history. And third, how the only response of the Democrats and their British masters is to scream fascism, something they themselves embrace. The hysteria coming out of London tells us everything we need to know. Listen to these quotes from the Financial Times. Trump's late-night putsch represents one of the gravest challenges to the Fed since it became independent 74 years ago, and marks a stunning escalation in the president's attack on the U.S. economic establishment. A putsch? Really? For firing a compromised Fed governor? In the same article, the Brookings Institute's David Wessel cites Trump's efforts to get a majority on the Fed as, quote, one more way in which the president is undermining the foundations of our democracy. Last time I checked, the Federal Reserve had nothing to do with the foundations of our democracy. Not to mention that we're a republic, not a democracy.
So everybody's panicking, upset. They see what's going on here. Donald Trump is upending the economic order of things intentionally. So what's happening with the Fed? What new charges are being brought? It says today the U.S. Housing sent 2 criminal referrals in the matter of Lisa D. Cook related to mortgage on a third property. So they had 2 properties. Now she has 3. An alleged misrepresentation about her properties, United States government, during a time as governor of Federal Reserve on April 7, 2021. Cook entered a 15-year mortgage for a condominium in Cambridge, Massachusetts, representing it as her second home. Only 8 months later, on December 1st, 2021, Cook signed an ethics form with the U.S. government that the property was an investment rental property. In subsequent filings, 2022 and 25, or 225, so 22, 23, 24, 25, Cook consistently listed this property as an investment rental property, not a second home. Representing the property as a second home may have allowed Cook to secure a lower second home mortgage down payment and rates, as investment properties typically carry higher down payments and higher rates due to increased risk. Additionally, by the way, most investment properties are on a 5-year balloon note, meaning you make your payment for 5 years and then it's ballooned and you either have to refinance it or pay it off. That's the way they do it. It's just the way it is. There is no other choice. But she was able to enter into a 15-year mortgage on her second home that was a rental property. That's the problem here. Additionally, Cook allegedly misrepresented her Atlanta, Georgia property from 2022 through 2025 to the U.S. government as her residence, despite evidence suggesting it was being rented out to tenants. Similarly, Cook declared in 2025 government filing that her Ann Arbor, Michigan property was her personal residence. However, we have reason to believe that in 2025, the Ann Arbor property was being used as a rental property, not a personal residence. This inconsistencies appear. Cook made additional multiple false representations, including to the U.S. government, regarding the status of her mortgages and properties. And I'm here to tell you, we got Lisa Cook, we got Adam Shifty Shift, and we got Loretta St. James, all wrapped up in the same problem. And let me tell you something. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of government elected officials and bureaucrats doing the exact same thing. This is just the tippy top of the iceberg of the problem that is going on. The tippy top. And they're panicking because it ain't just about old Cook. It's about others. It really is about others. And it's time to get to understanding how bad it really is. So let's see here. Where's that? So the media is very upset about the CDC and RFK getting rid of the leaders at the CDC. Now, mind you, 2 weeks ago, Republicans were throwing a temper fit because of the leadership of the CDC. Donald Trump and their RFK has sold us out. We're all going to die. Operation Warp Speed is going to kill us all. Now they're gone. It's weird. It's almost like Donald Trump had a plan. Now this is resting bitch face here, and we got the guy from CDC who stepped down. Just listen to this. Listen to what they're saying.
Do you ever experience anyone from Secretary Kennedy's office interfering with the work of the CDC?
There is, public evidence of the intent to interfere with the science at CDC. Recently, the release of the documents that help form one of the ACIP work groups on COVID-19 really demonstrate where interference will be coming. And so, very specifically, this document that puts together the work group that provides inputs to the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices states that that the chair of the work group, who is a staunch opponent to COVID-19 vaccine, who on his Twitter has a pinned tweet that says that no one should ever get the COVID vaccine and it should be banned, is now the head of that and has been given authority to guide CDC's science. And additionally, that document says that his role is to make sure that CDC bias does not permeate the work group. CDC does not have bias. On the contrary, the people that have been installed by Secretary Kennedy are full of ideology and bias that will actually contaminate the science. So I think that we have evidence.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold up. Science is not fact. Science is just that. But this guy's worried that a different opinion's going to contaminate his religion. I mean, science. He he is reacting religiously about science, his God. How dare that a new administration puts in new administration people who are going to contaminate my science. This guy's reacting as if a Methodist church just hired onto their board a bunch of Southern Baptists. They're going to contaminate their religion with their Southern baptism. No more will you get sprinkled, you have to be dunked. Just saying. That's what's going on here. This guy is not a scientist, it's a religion.
COVID vaccine and it should be banned, is now the head of that and has been given authority to guide CDC's science. And additionally, that document says that his role is to make sure that CDC bias does not permeate the work group. CDC does not have bias. On the contrary, the people that have been installed by Secretary Kennedy.
CDC does not have bias. We are anointed by our God with all truth. Therefore, we cannot be biased because we have all truth. It is heresy to question our God's given truth.
Are full of ideology and bias that will actually contaminate the science. So I think that we have evidence that this is coming. And I think that the other part that we're seeing is that decisions are being made and data is being retrofitted to be able to address the decision. I think that that is really a clear sign that the direction that the country's public health is going is not one that is evidence-based or science-based, which is why our resignations are really together are trying to raise a red flag for everyone. An important thing to ask the secretary is, has he been ever briefed by a CDC expert on anything? Specifically measles, COVID-19, flu. I think that people...
Has he ever been briefed by a CDC expert? Now, there are doctors galore that are on RFK's side with years and years and years of practical experience in the field. But he hasn't ever been briefed by a CDC religious science expert who is indoctrinated in the truth from their God of their science. So therefore, he's a heretic. I mean, that's the words and the language. Science, there is no such thing. There is no such thing as one truth in science. Science, you should be questioning everything. You should welcome second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions to make you look at something in a different angle and say, hey, you know, maybe we should try it this way. Because science, you know, they say science evolves and changes. Science never evolves and changes. They just find out they're wrong. And this is not religion, you know. And I'll say this about myself. The Bible says what the Bible says. God says what God says. I don't care what your facts and figures tell me. I'm standing with God. That's faith. I admit it. By the way, this guy reacts the way some of you guys react about chemtrails and flat earth. Just saying. Hey, have your belief, but understand that it's not given by God. It's just an opinion and a thought. And welcome other ideas and thoughts and look at them. But I admit, mine is religion. Mine is faith in God. I can't prove it.
Should ask him that in that hearing.
What would the answer to that be?
So the answer is no. So no one from my center has ever briefed him on any of those topics.
Really?
So I don't know where he's getting his, really.
No one has ever briefed him on any of those issues that you just mentioned there, including measles, given the outbreak in the United States right now?
He's getting information from somewhere. Yeah, he's getting information from somewhere, but that information is not coming from CDC experts.
See, there you guys are in the comment section. Chemtrails are real. Flat Earth is not. I love you guys. I do. You guys are great. And we didn't go to the moon. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. Well, I got good news for you all. Marjorie Taylor Greene is introducing a bill, the Clean Skies Act, to ban chemtrails. And if I was in Congress, I'd vote for it. And then I'd turn around after it's implemented and say, how do we still have these clouds in the sky? Somebody needs to investigate that. We need to go after these companies. And here's more usual suspects, all upset that they're taking away their control over the CDC and their religion.
From that perspective, Jim O'Neill has been a technocrat in the George W. Bush administration. Hasn't done anything super controversial prior to the pandemic, Pablo. But I would say, just to give your viewers a sense, this is an individual early on in the pandemic who endorsed very strongly ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, really all the talking points of the president back in the day. He's put out direct endorsements of those, obviously just misinformed views. So this is somebody that, in many ways,
turns out it was true.
Stamp is the fear. All the policies that Dr. Monterez and the leadership that just resigned said no, thank you. And so that's the concern here, is that his public statements here are very much in line with Kennedy's thinking, and he will be a rubber stamp.
NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Dr. Gupta used to have an accent, but he doesn't anymore. Weren't you a rubber stamp for everything Fauci said? Weren't you one of the ones going out there going, it's 100% effect, 75, 60, 50, do I hear 40, do I hear 40, I got 40, do I hear 35, I got 35, do I hear 30, 20, I got 20, do I hear it 15, 10%, oh, you got to get a booster, do I hear one booster, I got one booster, I got two boosters, no, three boosters, no, four boosters. Wasn't that you, sir, giving a rubber stamp to the science, the religion of man and government? Wasn't that you, sir? They're on TV telling us all that masks are safe and effective, that social distancing works. Wasn't that you, sir? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just asking for a friend. Now here's the CDC folks as they walk out, and the crowds are there. Woo! We love Moloch.
Hey, can we give her song? We can't see
the Now, before we get to the dunk praise of these people, I have a question. Let me let this play out. How did all these folks get there with their ready-made signs and lined up cheering? How did they know? How did they know out of honor and reputation and the fact that they just can't work with RFK Jr. and Donald Trump, that these guys are gonna spur of the moment resign today? How'd they know? How'd they know to be outside? Woo! We love our religion. Woo! I mean science. Woo! How'd they know to just show up at that moment? It's almost like it was planned. I mean, surely it's not planned. Surely. I mean, it couldn't have been, right?
We love you all. We will do what it takes now to be on the other side to support public health. There's so much going on right now when you look at the devastation that's happening to our staff, our campus.
You are the people that protect America, and we are going to be your loudest advocates.
Woo! Yay! Martyrs for our religion. Science. Science is not consensus. If science is consensus, it's not science at all. Science is repeatable, duplicatable, gives the same results. Science is reaching out to new ideas, new thoughts, looking to see why things are the way they are, discovering, uncovering. That's science. You see, the problem is they don't want to do science because you get to looking into science too much and you find out that, well, a lot of things in the Bible are true. You start looking into science and you start realizing, when you get into the cellular structure of things, that there seems to be patterns. And then the Bible discusses those patterns. It's amazing. Yep. Oh, the lunar rover was battery powered. The temperature on the moon is minus 250. I have never heard a battery that can handle that temperature. Okay. I don't care. It's perfectly plausible that we faked the whole moon thing because we were in a Cold War with Russia and it worked. Yay on us. It's kind of like the blow up tanks and airplanes there in northern Europe, northern England. So I'm not upset about it. Doesn't bother me. Not in the least bit does it bother me. It doesn't. It does. I got a lot of other things that bother me, but that's not one of them. So we didn't land on the moon. Or maybe we did. Who cares? The NASA guy appointed by Donald Trump says we're going to the moon. So that's kind of cool. I'm ready to go. Whatever works. So here's Michael, what's his name? Michael Capado. Talking about how they spied on the 2024. Joe Biden's team spied on 2024 Trump campaign.
The most important thing to take away from this piece in Racket News today is that they spied on the 2024 campaign. We're digging up evidence of the spying on the 2016 campaign. We're going to get to evidence of the spying on the 2020 campaign, but I can tell you it's living proof that they were spying on the 2024 campaign. As a campaign staffer in the policy department, the FBI had an open investigation on me. They had a Google user alert came to me in March of 2025, just several weeks ago, telling me that the FBI had just had a classified subpoena against my emails, my texts, everything that comes through Google, VoIP calls and things, and it is still open. It's still open now. I mean, in fact, I hired an attorney to find out more. And he said that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. opened this investigation after my movie, the Ukraine hoax, came out and it named Hunter Biden and Joe Biden as taking money from Ukraine. In fact, I have the receipts of all of that. And I talked about it in the movie. And when they won, they went after me. And they opened a FBI federal criminal investigation. And it is still open. That's 4.5 years. And the reason why I've gone public with this is because I just want them to close it. I want them to just leave my family, my daughters, my wife alone. It's been, 9 years of this. And it damn near killed me, Steve. And it did kill people like Lee Avershaw, Paul Manafort's deputy in Ukraine. He died of cancer at the same time I had cancer. I was, many other people, Paul Manafort, the president, George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone, others, all these people who suffered far more than I did. I was always a witness. They kept trying to flip me into a subject and then a target, but I had a very good attorney and they were never able to do it. This whole thing was a hoax. The whole thing was complete fiction, and they could not turn the fiction into fact with me. They did it with others, with Papadopoulos and poor Poor Carter Page. I've gotten to know all these people very well ever since this happened. Some of us, we call ourselves the remnants, the leftovers. Right now, I kind of feel like a cigar butt in the ashtray, you know, and others do too. You know, I believe that the president and Cash and you know, Dan Bongino and Tulsi Gabbard, especially, all these guys are doing their level best. But you know what it is? We're finding out now it was bigger than we ever thought.
Yep. All roads lead to Ukraine. So he's saying they were spying in 2024 too. They were spying in 2024 too. Here's Charlie Kirk with the Democrats' new fight song. And you know, Donald Trump, he's really good. His team's really good about putting out these motivational, mega, you know, powerful little videos. Here is Democrats' new fight song.
Madison tradition. This will be up there with the Oregon fight song. This will be up there. Everybody, I can't tell you. They have released their new fight song at the Democrat National Convention. Play cut 493.
DEMS, we rise. Stronger together, blue skies. Lift your voice, we're bold and true. Onward, Democrats, we shine blue. DEMS, we rise.
Okay, so they released the words and then someone put the music to AI, but the words are very real. Let's do this again. DEMS, we rise. Stronger together, blue skies. Lift your voice, we're bold and true. Onward, Democrats, we shine blue. That is the new fight song. I mean, it honestly sounds like an AI wrote it. That's like a large language model. This is now the Democrats' answer. I mean, this is totally the words an AI would come up with. There it is on screen, everybody. Let's say it together. DEMS, we rise. Stronger together, blue skies. Lift your voice, we're bold and true. Onward, Democrats, we shine blue. Yeah, they're a pretty aimless bunch right now. The downfall of Democrats being cool needs to be studied in a book and needs to be a masterclass taught at every major university. How Democrats went from the cool party when I first started Turning Point USA, put this back up on screen, to this. This is something that would come up at a Democrat bingo hall. You know, that's what we need. We need a fight song. It's just so cringe. Nothing is less cool than a Democrat activist right now. When you think of just a model Democrat, you're like, I don't want to spend time and they're just going to scold me and police my language. The only cool people on the left hate Democrats. And if you actually want to end up being cool, you have to be a Mamdani level communist. So say it with me, everybody. DEMS, we rise. Stronger together, blue skies. Lift your voice, we're bold and true. Do you know how you know it's AI? Because of that little line. AI uses that line a lot more than humans do. Between Democrats and we, whatever they call it. That's how.
Yep, that's true. The little line. Sometimes I use AI to create ads, and I go in and take all the lines out. Sometimes I'll leave them in. It just depends. But it's true. They do that. It is. Here is some more of the Democrats. They're losing it. They're losing it completely.
White House, you just borrowing it, baby.
If you hear anybody talking out of line, just turn them over to security, because we don't want none of the Trump folks trying to provoke something.
To Donald Trump and his corporate friends, we say this: underestimate the power of we the people at your own risk. This country does not and will never have a damn king. Not on our watch.
Thousands of demonstrators flooding Wall Street earlier today protesting President Trump's rollback of federal diversity programs. Brian Yennis is on the ground in New York City with the latest. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Mike, well, this protest just wrapped up. About 2,500 protesters here on behalf of an organization called the National Action Network, led by Al Sharpton. Now, we all know that President Trump has made ending DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, a focal point of his administration, banning it on the federal level and also pressuring private companies to do the same. Well, today, Al Sharpton and his group and civil rights organizations are calling it racist, calling President Trump's anti-DEI policies racist, and also calling out President Trump sending National Guard troops to U.S. cities as also racist, saying that he is specifically targeting black mayors. Now, it's not just about the National Guard. When we talk about DEI programs, this march was in the financial district of Manhattan. They are trying to call out American companies that have rolled back their DEI practices, and there's a laundry list of those companies, everywhere from Ford, Disney, Deloitte, IBM, McDonald's, Walmart, and Target. In fact, there is a current boycott nationwide by some black customers against Target for rolling back DEI practices. We spoke to a few protesters here today about their feelings about these companies.
I'd like to go to Target, but if you don't, you can't include me in your management, in your decision making, or give us a seat at the table, then I really don't want to participate with you.
What you call that? White privilege, whatever. Well, black people didn't have privilege like that, so we needed an extra boost as far as the laws to protect us.
Now, New York City's mayoral hopefuls were invited to this event, particularly former Governor Andrew Cuomo and Mayor Eric Adams. They were no-shows, but the frontrunner Zohran Mamdani, who struggled with black voters in the primary, did show up, and not surprisingly, he attacked President Trump again.
To Donald Trump, we say this to you. We will continue to fight for that which our forefathers have fought for. Because what we fight for is no less.
Our forefathers?
Afterwards, I pressed Mamdani on whether or not he is for decriminalizing all misdemeanors. He says he is not. Mike?
Brian Yennis.
My internet is weak today for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to yell and scream and holler and say my religion is threatened because of the internet. Now, here's Jake Solomon. You all know who Jake Solomon was. He was basically running the White House when Joe was incapacitated. And Jake Solomon was shocked, I tell you, to find out that Joe wasn't all there.
Said on a panel recently that Joe Biden's debate performance was a shock to you. Come on, man. Really? What? It was a shock? Like you didn't, like there was no... You weren't worried about it? I was fucking panicked. I going into the debate. My palms were sweating. I wasn't even working for him. I was like, can this old man make it through this next 2 hours? And I don't know. Any watcher of him was concerned about this. And we would have focus groups where people would tell us that they just want to hold him to make sure he can stand up straight. Like you were really surprised?
Well, Tim, I did not expect what we saw at the debate. If I had, or if, well, I was on the national security side, not the political side, but you think people expected that out of the debate?
I mean, I didn't expect it to be that bad, but I don't think people that were observing it were like shocked. They were like, oh yeah, this is the sum of all fears. Like I was worried that this might happen. We've seen signs of this. You had never seen anything that made you feel like that type of performance might happen.
I will
tell you more than me.
Yeah, and I've said this repeatedly because it's the truth, which is the Joe Biden I dealt with every day in the Oval Office in the Situation Room was someone who was well and faithfully executing the duties of his office. He was making decisions. He was involved in crisis, management. He was involved in strategy, and I did not expect by any stretch of the imagination a performance like that at the debate.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Emotional damage.
Oh, yes. How do you believe that? I didn't expect that. It wasn't me. Golly Shazam. Oh, it turned out that Joe Biden was an idiot. I never knew. I mean, I talked to him every single day, and he was bright and coherent and perfect in every way. He was as sharp as a tack. You believe me, right? Right? You believe me? You do believe me, don't you? So here is just a little Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump.
If the FBI doesn't open up on Hillary Clinton, the Steele dossier or the stuff from Australia, this scandal probably becomes a very different, or probably just a dirty trick that didn't go anywhere, right?
Oh, completely. And they used word games, not the letter or spirit of the law, to get them out of this at every turn. If you remember, they indicted President Trump for, quote, mishandling classified documents, but Hillary Clinton smashed her subpoenaed phones with a hammer and used the so-called leech bit, destroyed everything while under subpoena. And it was that same James Comey who not only covered up Russiagate, but covered for her by creating a brand new legal standard that would have been illegal under the standard of gross negligence. But he came up with the new legal standard called extreme recklessness, saying it's something less than gross negligence. Extreme recklessness actually sounds a lot worse to me than gross negligence, but a rose by any other name is evidently not a crime.
That's right. And the biggest difference is, if all things were equal, as Supreme Court has ruled multiple times, that presidents and former presidents have the right to retain classified documents. Secretary of States and senators do not. Do not. Therein lies the big problem. Therein lies the biggest of the problems that these people have. You know, and there's a couple of videos I want to play here. Let me see if I can find them. I'm totally out of order. My order is shot out the window, but that's okay. We're okay. It's all good. But I've got here a video of Mike Pence's, one of Mike Pence's senior staffers, and it's a very enlightening video if you think about it, because they're all upset. All these people are upset that, well, they raided Bolton's home. Mind you, they're investigating Bolton because he had transferred information to his wife through an open server that was intercepted. And we discussed how that's how they get paid, right? Listen to this.
I certainly think about, well, am I next? You know, am I the next person that they're going to knock on the door on? What does that look like for me and my family? What do I need to prepare for that situation? Watching it unfold on Friday, I was horrified for John Bolton and his family, trying to figure out what was happening. And I was concerned because I think it sends a sign and a chilling effect, right? It is really about silencing critics. And it is a sort of an effect of, well, am I next? What's going to happen? And I think for people that are watching too, what does it mean for them? I mean, you know, Friday it was John Bolton, and you may not agree with his politics or foreign policy, but tomorrow it could be a journalist, it could be you, it could be me, it could be actually any American citizen or person out there who criticizes the president. That is why this is so dangerous. I think this is very authoritarian-like. It's something that I warned about, and it is horrible to watch it play out. I mean, this is something, you know, I went to Kash Patel's confirmation hearing with Judge William Webster, who recently passed. And the reason we were there in person is because we were concerned that the Bureau would be used in such a manner that would be a political vengeance force for Donald Trump. And Friday showed that that is the direction that this is going in.
You know, that when Mike Pence was, you know, on January 6th, fearing for his life from the traitorous January 6ers, I made sure that I voted appropriately as my deep state masters wanted me to, and not according to the Constitution, to get rid of the threat that is Donald Trump, my president. when I was vice president. So let me ask you there, staffer girl. That, if you don't know, that's my impersonation of Mike Pence. He always sniffs real hard. You ever notice that when he's talking? I don't know what that's all about. But anyways, she's upset because they raided Bolton's home and she could be next. Well, why could you be next? Because I'm not fearful at all of them raiding my homes. I was way more fearful of them raiding my home because I have a national show that I talk and have an opinion and people watch and think, and I put out stuff that maybe isn't what everybody wants to hear, and I question things, and I may be asking the wrong questions at the wrong times. I was on a list as hyper political person, so I was concerned that they were going to raid my home and arrest me like they arrested that guy in London for saying he loves bacon. But let me ask you, sweetheart, why are you, and yes, I'm being a male chauvinist on purpose. I've been doing that lately with these people just to kind of be a jerk. But sweetheart, why are you afraid of being arrested? I thought that, with the J6ers and with Donald Trump and with the abortion clinic protesters, and if you didn't do anything wrong, you didn't have anything to worry about, right? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Because I'm thinking probably you should be afraid, because I'm thinking probably y'all did something you probably shouldn't have done. And, well, it's not good for you. It's not good for nobody. So let me start over and find these. So the shooter, he did his thing. Now the Democrat policymakers are doing their thing because they're now out screaming and hollering about guns. It's all about guns. Also, we're finding out about some of these transients that are out there, like this one. This is Minnesota State Representative Leah Fink. Lee here identifies as a woman. He is instrumental in helping Democrats pass a bill to make Minnesota a trans refugee state. Well, no wonder they have a problem. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. Jamie Ratskin was on CNN saying crime has always been a part of our history. And these guys are pointing out Trump got them to defend crime because it was part of our heritage. We don't have to have crime. We don't have to have crime. It just seems that that's what they want. And now they're pushing gun control. Your face, that face you make after they take your guns away. Let me remind you, they took away the guns in England. Now they're arresting people for loving bacon. Now they're arresting little girls, little 12-year-old girls, for holding a knife and a hatchet to fend off prevert Muslims that are trying to rape her. Crimes. The leftist wackos, the transients, they're all out there praising the shooting of little children. It says, based, take the fight to their kids so they can feel what it's like to be attacked for your identity. Elect a fascist. Your kids are legitimate targets. Republicans are enemies of humanity. And thinning the herd is our duty. More dead Christians, LOL. To me, it seems like if you elect a really bad guy that's cruel to people and weaponize his cruelness in horrific behavior against our neighbors, some of those horrible, that goes on, maybe Christians, maybe their Christo-fascist parents will think twice before appointing an administration that kills Palestinian children. To all you Jew haters out there, just remember this is who you're aligning with. I'm not aligning with them. Yeah, you are. Conservatives want to kill all trans. No, we don't. We just want you. Do you want us to? Shouldn't be surprised when we fight back. We don't want to kill trans people. We just want you out of our schools and out of our lives. Go be trans. Go to your bedroom. I mean, I'm not flaunting my heterosexual monogamous relationship with my wife in your face. I don't want you flaunting whatever you do in mine. Heroic. They want to kill our kids. We're going to fight back. Who's trying to kill? But wait to cut a pit. Wait a. Hold up. I got a question. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. You're transient. You've had cut a dick off of me's and added dick to me's. Men who like men and women who like women and whatever, cats, dogs, and however you intermingle among yourself with monkeypox included, you don't make babies. The only kids you have are the ones you've perverted. Trans people are not born. They're perverted. Understand, they represent pride, the original sin. They want to transform themselves into something other than God created them to be. They want to be themselves, by themselves, for themselves. And ain't no God going to tell them how to be. Listen to these evil people talking about killing children. And then they want to sit here and say Republicans kill all the children. They're killing the children in Palestine. Well, let me tell you something. You transients, you LBGTQRSTUVWXYZ plus minus multiplication long division exclamation point question mark people, you are a deaf cult, just like the Muslims in Palestine who will blow up their own children for their cause. Except you can't produce children. There's a reason why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And there's a reason why we're coming to a reckoning in this country. Sooner rather than later. God is not going to let this stand. Repent. That means change your ways and submit to God before it's too late. There might just be hope for you. There might just be hope for you. Maybe. Stephen Miller, he went off on these Democrats.
Well, look, Laura, we've seen the polling. This is a 99 to 1% issue. In other words, 99% of the public says crime is either a problem or a major problem in their community. Only 1% of the country says crime is not a problem in our nation's major cities. Think about that for a second. Democrats have chosen a 1% issue. And over 80% of the country says crime is a major problem. President Trump has shown in just the last 2 weeks in Washington, D.C., that if you have the willpower and the strength, that you can break the back of these criminal gangs. There's been a steeper drop in crime in D.C., as the mayor herself has acknowledged, than any city has seen in American history over just the last 2 weeks. Meanwhile, compare that to Chicago, where last weekend, 34 Chicagoans were shot, multiple were killed, and among the dead, a 5-year-old boy gunned down by gang violence in that city. That is the Democrat policy. Bloodshed, gang violence, and suffering. President Trump and Republicans are offering no crime, security, and peace.
Well, when you think about California itself, I mean, they really pushed against voter ID.
Yep. The Democrats have no policy. They're completely reactionary. Remember, they're cheering on these preverts, these transients, these these radical leftist Marxist, Satan worshiping. They're Amanda Grace's show last night, she talked about how they needed a sacrifice of innocence. These preverts, this little boy was one of the victims. They're cheering it on. They're celebrating that this little boy was shot and killed by one of these deviants. What'd this little boy do? Nothing. Did nothing. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And on so many levels. It's just, these people are sick, twisted pieces of crap. Now, here's the mayor of Minneapolis.
We need a statewide and a federal ban on assault weapons.
The video's messed up and glitching. It's not me, it's them.
We need a statewide and a federal ban on high-capacity magazines. There is no reason that someone should be able to reel off 30 shots before they even have to reload. We're not talking about your father's hunting rifle here. We're talking about guns that are built to pierce armor and kill people. Why do we have them coming in by the trunk loads onto our streets around the country? And this is not just about Minneapolis, because you can buy an assault rifle in Milwaukee, and that assault rifle is in Minneapolis by noon that very same day. And so when we talk about the work that needs to be done, it's going to take a whole lot of unity from a lot of different cities, and I've gotten calls from their mayors who have experienced virtually the same thing that we experienced yesterday. And because we love our kids, because we love our families, because we love our constituents, we all have the obligation to act. And what you see here, you see federal congresswomen, you see we see our Minneapolis state delegation. You have council members from both Minneapolis and St. Paul. You have our sheriff. You have Moms Demand Action, Protect Minnesota, and every town all united and rallying around a common theme, which is keeping our cities and our country safe. And here's the thing. To the extent the federal government isn't willing to do it, to the extent a divided legislature prevents our state from acting, and by the way, I know that our Minneapolis delegation is on board with this work because they've been doing it. Thank you. But here's the final ask. To the extent other levels of government are either unwilling or unable to keep cities safe, let us do it ourselves. We are responsible for 435,000 residents that call Minneapolis home and many more that come and go. I think we'd be happy to ban assault rifles here in Minneapolis.
Armor-piercing rounds, blah, blah, blah. This guy's a moron, a nincompoop, an imbecile. He has no earthly idea what he is talking about, none whatsoever. I thought I had another video of him. For some reason, it's not. Let me just go ahead and fix this because I got to make a point here, and I think it needs to be done. And for some reason, I don't have that other video, but I do have it here. So we'll just load that up, and we'll go to it. Easy peasy. So here he is on MSNBC, and listen to what this moron says. And by moron, I mean moron.
Have more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that
Okay. We have more guns than we have people. Let's just stop right there and break that down. If guns are the problem and guns are going around killing people left and right, bang, 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 everybody's dying. It's probably going to get this monologue, is probably going to be kicked off of Facebook and YouTube. If they're the problem and there's more pew-pews than there are in the United States people, then why aren't we all dead? I mean, if they're going around unaliving people all willy-nilly, why aren't we all dead? Let's listen to the rest of this moron.
more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the person even needs to reload. The reality is that these guns make their way into cities across America by the trunk.
30 clips in conjunction with a magazine. Now, I'm no gunsmith, and I didn't stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I do know the difference between a clip, like an M1 Garand, ping, and a magazine, which is sitting on top of my computer over there. If I just push my camera right there, see it sitting on top there? That's a magazine. And you know that magazine is completely full. It's a 30 round clip magazine with armor piercing bullets to blow up tanks or something. I don't know. As a matter of fact, that magazine is completely full with these 30 round clips right here. 223-556 right there. That bullet right there. Of the assault weapon, which stands for Armalite, not AR, that has never been used in war. An M15 has M15 is AR-15 has never been used in war ever. The M16 and the M4 are a different weapon. It is fully semi-automatic, they say. One bang, one nose picker pull, one bang. Now you could put some gimmicks on there. They got that one trigger where you pull it, it goes bang, you let it go, it goes bang, it makes you a little faster. Or you can put a bump stock on it. Has anybody ever used a bump stock? You can't hit the broadside of the barn with one. I'm just saying. But this moron's talking about high capacity magazine with 30 clip magazines that can armor piercing kill tanks and blow people up. It's a pinprick of death. I have another gun, by the way. Shoots this round. This round compared to that round. To this moron, he would see this gun, which is bolt action and wood stocked, and he'd go, well, that's a hunting rifle. That's legal. Now, let me ask you a question. Which round do you think would do more damage? Right? This round's a 303 from a British Enfield. The Enfield that I have was actually used in war and probably killed Nazis. Tune in on Monday if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, and I will show you my weapons and explain them to you. I wonder why I put it on Christine's page instead of mine. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let's just add that right there. Oh, that's funny. So I'm broadcasting live on Christine's page. I'm sure she loves that. I'm going to drop that one. Okay. Sorry about that, Christine. Coming to you live on Facebook on my page. Hit the wrong button. When I was in school, they would have banned spitballs. So I'm going to take and I'm going to break down. I'm going to break down the two weapons. I'm going to show you the physical. I'm going to hold them up in front of the camera so you can see them and show you the physical difference in the two guns. One of them is a deadly assault weapon with 30 round clip capacity magazines with armor piercing tank round missiles that blow up aircraft carriers. One of them is just a hunting rifle, but was actually used in combat and shoots this round compared to this round. I mean, there's no difference there. I wish you could see and feel the weight difference, just the load difference. But look at the size of the copper part. Now, explaining to you lefties out there, the gun doesn't shoot this whole thing. This is the cartridge where the gunpowder is. It actually just shoots this part right here, and it goes down to about halfway of that. That's what they're shooting. Yeah. Oh, she'll be all right. She don't use her Facebook that much anyways. And besides, she hasn't had a ban. She hasn't had a check mark in a long time. They probably just born her. Although they took Charlie Simon's Do Not Talks pages, all of them down. They took Aaron Cates' pages down, just gone. Just gone. Took them down. No warning, no nothing. They can't get them back. Charlie can't even create an account. So they're wanting to get rid of guns. They're making this whole trans thing about guns, which it isn't. It's about trans and transients. It's about, it's about the trans people like this guy. Oh, I guess I got to add it to the screen, huh?
I have gender skin color dysphoria.
Yep.
I am a white lesbian trapped in a black man's body. I'm 6 months pregnant and I love my husband, but the LGBTQ community won't accept me.
But the LBGQ community won't accept me.
Oh. Address this, Governor, because
okay, so before we get into the gun stuff, here is Wes Moore, and he's asked about a Bronze Star. This is Governor of Maryland.
And I want to give you a chance to address this, Governor, because the President of the United States has brought it up. In 2006, on your application for a White House fellowship, you put on your application that you were the recipient of a Bronze Star, I believe also with a Combat Action Badge. That was not true. You have apologized and said it was an honest mistake. Here's what President Trump said. Did Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, lie about getting his Bronze Star? The question, Governor, is why did you let it go on, even if it was a mistake, for years and years and years as you were celebrated as having a Bronze Star?
I'm very proud of my service to this country. And I think, and I'm not sure if you've served, Will, but I think as anyone who has served in this country, if you look at what we were able to do overseas and the fact that I was recognized by the United States Army with both the Bronze Star and the Combat Action Badge, I think I'm not only proud of the service that I have done to this country and the fact that I was willing to put my life on the line, wear the uniform of this country overseas and lead soldiers. But I also know that the soldiers that I served with are also proud. And also, I know that most soldiers and most veterans know the ridiculousness of this line, and especially when they know that as someone who's actually led soldiers in combat, and someone who's actually led led people overseas, and to know the United States Army actually recognized me with these awards, I think it does matter.
Okay, Governor, first of all, I appreciate your service. I appreciate your service in combat. It's not something that I
Thank you
did,
so
and
much.
I recognize and honor your service for this country, and I mean that sincerely. But this is important because it's not ridiculous.
appreciate that.
It's
Thank you.
important to know that you also are telling the truth. And you did get the Bronze Star, but you got the Bronze Star 2 years ago. And
I
that
did.
2 years ago, you got the medal, you got a citation, you got a ceremony. But you claimed it in 2006 when you didn't have any of those things. So you would know if you got the Bronze Star. The question is, why did you claim it for so long before you got it? And by the way, the Pentagon has responded to this. I want to read you a statement from DOD. They have something to say about this as well. The Pentagon said in 2006, Wes Moore listed a Bronze Star on his resume he didn't have until 2 decades later. Wes Moore is a perfect example of a politician who inflates his resume and hopes no one notices. Your response, Governor.
My response is I'm very proud of my service, and I'm thankful that the United States military has recognized my service in Afghanistan with both the Bronze Star and the Combat Action Badge. I'm thankful for the service that I did overseas. I'm thankful for the soldiers that I led with. I'm thankful for all of our veterans who understand the sacrifice that we were able to make. And I'm grateful for the opportunity now to be able to continue to do good work on behalf of the people of the state of Maryland.
Yeah. Well, I don't think many people question your service, Governor. I appreciate your service, and I respect and honor that service as well. The question is whether or not you're telling the truth as a politician. And I think that's important to the American people as we talk about crime or any other issues addressing the state of Maryland. We got to know that the man we're talking to is also one that's willing to tell us the truth. And this does not look like good evidence of your willingness to tell the truth.
I think if you look at my military records, you can see that I'm not just very proud of the fact that I'm a decorated combat veteran, and I, unlike many people in this country, were willing to put on the uniform and sacrifice myself on behalf of this country. I'm proud of the work that I did with also my other soldiers and my other veterans.
Okay, let's get the backstory here. By the way, gold is now trading at 35.03. The stock market is down. Dow Jones down 159, NASDAQ down 254, and SP 500 down 49. Let's get to the story here. So he'd been going around through his whole political career bragging about how he got a Bronze Star. Then during the Biden administration, they awarded him with a Bronze Star retroactively so that his bragging was no longer a lie. But in the medium time, he was bragging that he had a Bronze Star. That is not a good thing. There are some of us who have received awards, from the government for our service in the military. We never talk about them, ever. I'll tell you about one. And I guess if you guys wanted to look into my record, you could see what awards I received. But I'll tell you about one. So I was in the 197th Infantry. That unit was awarded for actions during the first Gulf War, the Presidential Unit Citation. It's a little blue ribbon that you wear. Well, on screen it would be on this side, but it's on this side. Yeah. Your name tag goes over here. It's over here. It's the little blue ribbon. The Presidential Unit Citation is what that's called. We rewarded it. Now, under the rules, the regulations of the Presidential Unit Citation, if you go into that unit, like you transfer into that unit after they've received it, you can wear that ribbon because you're part of that unit. When you leave that unit, you have to take it off. But if you were a part of that unit, when the award was awarded, you permanently wear that. So I was somewhere, I don't remember where, and I was wearing that, and some lieutenant started busting me down about that ribbon. When the master sergeant I was with said, no, he was there. He gets to wear that ribbon. There's little things like that in the military that you have to understand. And some people receive awards and some people don't. Some people get awarded awards like Purple Hearts and Bronze Stars and even Silver Stars, and it never gets presented to them. That's a real thing in the military. That should be corrected. People that receive their awards should receive their awards, or that were awarded things should receive them. But then, you get a lot of us who just don't give a crap and don't care and won't pursue it because, well, it's stupid anyway. So just saying, There's a lot to be said about those. When you see a military guy in his dress clothes and he's got all those different awards, those mean things. Those really do mean things. And then the Bronze Stars should be awarded for eating MREs. Well, at least the older ones. Got to understand what a V means on a ribbon, yeah, or the little oak leaf clusters or things like that. What the little stripes mean on the arm. Those all mean things. To a guy that's in the military, he understands what those things means. He understands what people go through to get those things. Unless you're Westmoreland, who brags about stuff when he shouldn't be. So I want to get back to this gun stuff. Oh, wait, let me do. No, I'm going to do that one. Hold on. Jasmine Crockett says this. Jasmine Crockett says a city with no crime is racist because a city with no crime is a white dominant city. Says this woman this woman makes AOC look like a Harvard scholar.
This is our message to Americans.
Yep. This is Caroline Levant talking about the crime-ridden cities.
In Democrat-run cities nationwide. Decline is a choice. You don't have to live in constant fear of being robbed, raped, or murdered. Your leaders are lying to you, and they have been failing you for decades.
Yep. Decline is a choice. That's the difference between Donald Trump and the rest of these politicians, Republican and Democrat. Decline is a choice. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to be like this. It doesn't, you don't have to suffer through all this crime and all this crap. You don't have to. You can make another choice, as is plainly evident in DC right now. Remember, trans rights or else. And they're saying that the gun is the problem. And they're saying that the gun is a problem. Now they're saying let's just examine this a little bit. These are the Democrats. These are the people that are telling us, me and you, that we're deranged because we believe in some ghost in the sky. These are those people.
Septum theory this, septum theory that. You guys are just jealous that I am swag, awesome, gay, and yeah, that's it really. Those are the three things that I am. Swag, awesome, and gay, that's me. But for real, this septum theory shit is so fucking stupid. Like, sincerely, like, where are we? There are so many more important things to talk about here on this fucking app right now. Like, if you're commenting septum theory under my posts, I'm blocking you.
I mean, we don't even have to call these people a clown anymore. They do it to themselves. By the way, that's a dude. That's a dude, not a lady. That's a dude. Now, I didn't know what septum theory was, so I had to ask. What is septum theory? Well, it's a thing, kind of. It says the term septum theory is, or septum ring theory, refers to the controversial, largely debunked social media-driven concept, primarily popularized on platforms like TikTok and X, that attempts to link septum piercings to specific personal traits or behaviors, often in a negative, stereotypical manner. Coined around 2017 by writer and self-described Black men's rights activist Tyreen Walker, the theory originally suggested that individuals, particularly women or transients, with septum piercings are more likely to exhibit feminist, anti-male, or manist ideologies, often accusing them of promoting radical or crackpot ideas online. Well, Well, over time, the theory evolved into a broader stereotype, with some claiming that people with septum piercing, especially women, tend to make their own trauma their entire personality, well, or exhibit attention-seeking behaviors, victim mentalities, or emotionally volatility, or emotional volatility. I'm just saying that, well, it's basically, yeah.
Emotional damage.
Why? I mean, all we got to do is take a little look-see here. Now, what do you got? And as I scroll through these next couple of videos,
why can't I exist?
Well, this one doesn't have one, but this is another good. There's no such thing as demon possession.
Why can't I exist as my true self right now?
That's not your true self. That's why.
You don't think this is my true fucking self? What the fuck is your true self? You fucking ignorant piece of.
Our country has checks and balances.
Whoops, that's the wrong one.
Why can't I exist as my true self right now?
That's not your true self. That's why.
You don't think this is my true fucking self? What the fuck is your true self? You fucking ignorant piece of shit! Is your true self being a little fucking pussy who's shorter and feels insecure about how they are? What? Oh, you don't like coming into people's spaces and getting them uncomfortable for being their true self? You don't like when people fucking do that to you? Then fucking learn and do that somewhere else and stop coming here, you fucking piece of shit!
I love you.
I'm not a fucking man, and you don't love me. If you loved me, you would put this fucking sign down. You would go walk, and you would thank everyone for being here authentically, as opposed to telling them with your fuckhead sign that they need to fucking convert and no longer exist. Stop fucking ruining pride for fucking everyone.
I think that guy forgot the definition of pride. I think he forgot what pride actually means.
I have gender skin color dysphoria. I am a white lesbian trapped in a black man's body. I'm 6 months pregnant and I love my husband, but the LGBTQ community won't accept me.
You just can't make this stuff up. You just can't. These people are insane. I give you an example. The septum ring, the nose ring. The nose ring exhibits certain personality traits. I'm just saying.
Are more likely to be victims of violence than they are to be themselves inherently violent. Do not blame this on mental health, because I'm tired of it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The people going around shooting have nothing to do with mental health. It's the gun. It's the gun problem. And this young lady, you know, I've showed you the Democrats, right? We've been talking about them all day and how crazy they are. They have nothing but cliches. This young lady says it's not a messaging problem. They just need to get out and talk about that. They can win the arguments, they say.
It's literally all messaging on the left. We're just not good at messaging right now. Progressive policies are popular, and we just need to message them right. Like right now, the right seems quote unquote cool, and the left is like, you know, they like to do all those stereotypical names and stuff when it's literally not true. They are freaks over there. And we need to just be like, yeah, no, it's cool to care about other people. And this is how we're going to get there. And this is how it's going to affect your life. And just like say it and do it. We don't need to be all fancy and polished and all the things. We don't need to. And the only way we're going to get out of this is if we portray things in that way.
You see, they're freaks over there. We love people on our side. Now, let me show you something. In being in the recovery ministry type ministry, you have you have people, family members. So you got a guy, he's addicted, he's struggling, and we have family members that love him so much. They just love him the way he is. Let me go get you some clean needles and help you out with that. Let me go down the street to the drug house and let me give you a little extra cash so you can get a hit today. That's not love. That's not love. No, that's codependence. That's a problem. Love is, I'm taking you down to the detox center and I'm throwing your butt in there until you get cleaned up. I'm calling the police because you're robbing liquor stores to support your habit. I'm going to get you locked up so that you can get cleaned up, and I'm going to get you into the embassy where you can give your life back to Christ and become who God has made you to be and walk away from this crap. But she's saying we love people. We want them to remain in their mental disorders. We want to give 12-year-olds cut-a-dick-off-of-me's and addictomies. Go watch Glenn Beck's last episode with where he interviews the detransitioning young lady. Go watch that and listen to her story. Yep. Go watch that. So we've got this trend going about prayer and about banning guns. This is where I'm getting to right here. Come on. Here's Sucky.
Matters. Today's shooter bought the rifle, handgun, and shotgun they used to do what they did today legally. We live in a country with more guns than people, where there are not universal background checks, there are not bans on assault weapons, and it is far too easy to buy a gun. It's the guns, everyone. It's not really a secret. There are a lot of things to feel outraged.
It's the guns, everyone. It's the guns. Look, Minnesota has one of the strictest gun laws in the nation. Minneapolis, Minnesota, even the more. And we need to ban high-capacity magazines. It's already banned. That dude had a 50-round magazine in his pile. Made no difference. He didn't get that many rounds off, by the way. He didn't get that many rounds off. Here's Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar.
This is not a big issue for us to solve, like curing cancer or AIDS, even though we attempt to do that every single day. This is something that is simple, a simple ban to make sure people who should not have access to these weapons do not get them, and then cause harm and trauma for generations to come in our communities.
So there's Ilhan Omar complaining about the gun. Well, first of all, go back to your country, where you came from. They have strict gun laws. There's guns everywhere, but they have strict gun laws. Go back to your country. That's what I say. Here's AOC. They're all coming out of the woodwork on guns. Oh, wait, AOC's got another problem. She doesn't want to just ban guns.
You know, I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
So not only do we need to ban the Second Amendment and get rid of guns, we need to ban the First Amendment. By the way, you get rid of the second, the first goes. What keeps the First Amendment is the gun. The Second Amendment. We have guns because we have guns. You see, when you're standing there fully strapped, got your gear on, you can say whatever you want to say. Just saying. When you're standing there fully strapped with all your gear on, you can say whatever you want to say. And there's no one to stop you. you know, and there might be a reason. There might be a mental problem going on. This is a Nebraska senator. This is a Nebraska senator. This is an elected official in Nebraska.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.
And you're scaring me. We love trans people. We need trans people. And by the way, the only way trans people can reproduce is by turning your kids trans. In case you wanted to know. They're nuts. Remember, they've got the messages. They got the love. All they have to do is start telling the love and the message to people, and we'll beat those freak show Republicans and their Christian God. We are that close to God ripping the veil off and exposing these people for who they really are. And you want to know what's going to happen? You're not going to see a physical hand of God come down and peel off the veil. No, these people are going to expose it themselves. They're going to expose it themselves. Chill Will says he'll stop me with with his social worker. I think, can we talk about your parents? Do you have some sort of inward grief from when you were 2 years old? Are you suffering trauma from when you were squeezed out of the womb that you did not want to come out of? Is that why you're carrying a gun? No, I carry a gun because I got guns. Because I can. Because the Second Amendment says I have the right to keep and bear arms. Oh, wait, we're going to get more to the gun stuff. I just keep seeing there's just so much stuff to talk about today. They're throwing a temper fit in Florida because they keep drawing these LBGTQRSTV WXYZ plus minus multiplication X long division exclamation point question mark sidewalks with chalk, and every night the state of Florida cleaning them up.
Thanks for helping us, kid.
Oh, no, you're wrong, tarred and feathered. They absolutely believe in Christ. They absolutely believe in God. They say they don't. But see, they're possessed by demons who know the truth and fear and tremble at his name. They know. They don't get upset and scream and holler and protest in front of Buddhist shrines. They don't get upset and scream and holler at the Muslims. In fact, they promote them. They love them. The Palestinians. They hate the Jews and the Christians because they're under the covenant of God. That's what they hate. And you see, the thing is, only thing they have to do is repent and accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and they're part of the covenant. Now, Democrats can't stand guns. But more than guns, they can't stand prayer, because prayer works more than guns.
Thoughts and prayers. That is all they are offering.
Thoughts and prayers just aren't enough here right now, because these kids were actually praying.
At the end of the day, thoughts and prayers have led us to having more of these deaths, more of these shootings.
Keep us in your thoughts and prayers.
but also keep us in the thoughts for action.
Okay, Greg, I'm going to go to you because when this all was happening, I thought, wow, okay, this feels like something Greg either predicted or could have told you was going to happen again.
Yes. This is why none of these a-holes can lecture anyone on compassion. The most compassionate people on this planet are trying to stop the trans delusion. The least compassionate are the people in the media, academia, and politicians who enabled this hysteria of horror. What is so glaring about the trans cult? Apparently your identity is the only thing that matters until you do something awful. Then it's the least important variable. Then you look at everything else. You talk about guns, but you suddenly, it's all of a sudden like, oh, we can't talk about that. What was it? The other trans shooter that they actually hid her identity. In this manifesto that this creep wrote, he said he was tired of being trans and that he had wished he had never brainwashed himself. What more do you need straight from the monster's mouth? Politicians, activists, teachers, you built this. You could have listened to the warnings. We were talking about this on this show for years. You amplified a hysterical, literally hysterical phenomenon that was going no place good. You created a poisonous program that twisted young minds for destruction, a nihilistic place to be when you deny biology and they have nowhere to go. So all of these media arguments, what you're seeing there among those people, it's to escape their own culpability in the reality that they created. So forget the layer of mental illness and gun control. The origin of the evil lies in the creation of a mindset that indulged a delusional self, ruining connections with fellow human beings. So that trans, by ascribing extreme aggrieved mentality, then gets directed against society. So this person feels justified in killing children. His killing resulted from that ideology. And if you don't believe that, you're one dumb asshole. Excuse me.
Trey Gowdy, great to have you.
That's right. It's prayer that is the problem. They want you to stop your prayer. They want you to stop your praying. We can't have praying going on around here. Here is at the White House press corps. Caroline answers some questions.
This is the second shooting involving a trans-identifying shooter who specifically targeted Christians and Catholic kids. What kind of consequences do the gender-affirming therapists, doctors, or even the parents of these shooters face after these types of shootings?
Well, as for the parents and potential therapists in this case, again, all of that is still currently being investigated by the FBI. I know the Secretary of Health and Human Services this morning said that HHS is investigating perhaps links between some of these drugs and these prescription drugs that some of these minors may be taking and an increase in violence. Obviously, we have mental health problems in this country that this administration and Secretary Kennedy will continue to speak out about and the work that we're doing to solve it.
So that's true. And they're throwing a temper fit about that one, too, that he's looking into these drugs that may be causing this stuff. And see, is this the, yeah, here we go.
I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country. And it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
Right. So they're attacking the two things that are protecting this country: guns and God. And it's completely intentional. And of course, they're bragging about this. You know, I keep telling you over and over again, you guys are all upset that no one's getting arrested. Well, you guys, but people, the usual suspect, no one's getting arrested. Donald Trump's doing anything. He sold us out. He's part of them. He's one of them. He lied to us. It's been 6 whole months. I told you, we've got to clean out the court system.
A grand jury in Washington, D.C. rejected a felony charge against a man who threw a sandwich at a federal agent earlier this month. That's according to the New York Times. The paper notes it's extremely unusual for prosecutors to come out of a grand jury without obtaining an indictment because they are in control of the information grand jurors receive about a case, and defendants are not allowed to have their lawyers in the room as evidence is presented. The Times also highlights that the rejection by the grand jurors was particularly noteworthy given the attention paid to the case by the Trump administration, including posting video on social media
of the ham sandwich,
of a large group of heavily armed law enforcement officers going to the man's apartment.
for the ham sandwich. Yeah, I
believe it was salami, Joe.
Salami. Well, the old saying is that, it's so easy to get an indictment from a grand jury. You can even indict a ham sandwich, but you cannot obviously indict a Subway salami sandwich.
It's hard to not get, as you know, being a former attorney, hard not to secure an indictment in a case like this, but they found a way to do it there. So Lebo, this is kind of the latest example of judges, grand jurors in the district where you live, pushing back a bit on the Trump administration's takeover, resulting in people being charged with.
They say that you can indict a ham sandwich, except for in D.C. You can't. And you expect them to bring all these charges against all the, how come no one's been arrested yet? Blah, blah, blah. Because the system's designed not to arrest those in charge. The system's designed not to arrest these people. They got to change the system. They got to get rid of the judges. They got to do all that stuff. It's designed that way. It is. That's why they're going to bring the charges in Florida. Oh, you just wait and see. You just wait and see. You just wait and see. Wait and see. It's going to be glorious. I can't wait. Now, here's another thing that's been going on with these pedos. The Roadblock saga. How many of you got little kids or grandkids that play Roadblocks? The Roadblock saga. Have you guys been paying attention to it? Here's a summary of it.
Roblox just banned the guy that got 6 predators arrested. Then 100,000 people signed a petition and Congress got involved. Now all of a sudden Roblox cares about safety? Let me explain what's really happening. My name is Ben. I'm the family IT guy. I'm a dad and a cybersecurity expert with 30 years of experience. I've worked with the NSA and I know how these systems actually work. A vigilante named Schlepp exposed predators on Roblox, leading to actual arrests. Roblox's response? They banned him, not the predators, but the guy catching them. And now Roblox releases a safety video. This isn't about protecting kids, it's crisis. Here's what parents need to know. Roblox has 40 million daily users under the age of 13. That's more kids than the entire population of California every day. When I tested their safety features myself, here's what I found. I registered as an 8-year-old, maximum parental controls. Within an hour, I was in a game called Public Bathroom. Picture this, swimming pools surrounded by beds with multiple players on them, bathroom stalls you can enter together, bathtubs with privacy screens where players were doing things an 8-year-old should never see. This passed their filters. This is what they call safe. Parents need to understand that these are not accidents. Every oversight drives the same outcome, more engagement and more money. They show blocked games to kids to tease them into asking their parents for more access. That's not protection, that's marketing to children. YouTube Kids has a whitelisting feature. Parents can pick which channels their kids can watch. Roblox does not, because restricted kids don't buy Robux. Now they want to scan your kid's face for age verification. Is that biometric data stored or deleted? What happens when it gets hacked? Your kid can't get a new face when that data leaks. So 3 actions you can take right now. First, no Roblox. There is no safe way for kids to use it. Second, tell other parents, share this video. They deserve to know. Finally, demand the following features. A whitelist mode like YouTube Kids. daily activity emails to parents, stop showing blocked content, delete biometric data immediately. Roblox could implement these features. They have the resources and the tech. They choose not to. Ban the guy catching predators. They're fighting Congress instead of fixing their platform. Multiple states are suing them. The video they released, it's not about safety, it's about survival. They're hoping you'll be impressed by AI and facial scanning instead of asking why an 8-year-old can access sexual content. Your kids are not their priority. Their stock price is. Share this video. Talk to other parents. Our kids deserve better than being used as products for predators and for profit.
So there's a lot of discussion about this, and I've had the story 2 or 3 times. I think I talked about it on the show after the show one day. You've got 2 choices here on what's going on. Number one, Roblox is just greedy and trying to keep as much money for themselves, but to me, that doesn't pass the sniff test. There's another option. They're in on it. They're a bunch of pedos that run Roblox, maybe even the founders, I don't know. And they're in on it. They're in on it. Literally. That's why they're not doing anything about it. It's why they banned the guy that was busting them. Would it surprise you if these elitist billionaires who own these tech companies are a bunch of preverts? Would that surprise you? And that they go to places like Roblox to get their fix of prevertness? I mean, would it surprise you? They're a bunch of sick folks. A bunch of sick folks. One of the things that has come out about this guy that did the shooting is he had a lot of problems. What they do to these people, these transients, do to these kids, they start them out as kids, because when you become adult, when you're 10, 11, 12 years old, if you're a boy or a girl, your body's got all these new hormones and things happening, things are changing, and you're confused. You don't know what's going on, what's happening with me. That's when they go after you. That's when they go after you. They want to start cutting off things, adding things. Because they know if they wait till you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you'll have that all figured out by then, and you won't need them grooming you into a world of prevertness. So they can't reproduce. These transients and these preverts can't reproduce. So in order to reproduce, they have to do it with your kids. They have to groom your kids on roadblocks, at the school, at the church, wherever the preverts can find children, that's where they go. And then you wind up with a guy who shoots up a church full of kids who had written things like this: I wish I'd never brainwashed myself. In his writings, his demonic writings, he was crying out for help because he was out of control and under control by other forces. Yes, he was a he. Facebook, YouTube, he was a he. He had the chromosomes of a dude, whether you like it or not.
Why are you a racist?
Oh yeah. So here is the mayor of Chicago, and he's being asked some questions.
Why are you a racist? Mayor Johnson.
Yeah.
Please turn the mic on. Thank you. Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me, but they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question
had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
You know, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Want that?
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Alice?
The next question, my follow-up question is a businessman, Robert Gomez, had his riverfront restaurant license yanked. You said that the reason you hire black people is because they're the most generous race on the planet. His riverfront restaurant license was yanked and given to a black restaurateur. That has, once again, reinforced the belief among real Chicagoans, white and black and Mexican, that you are a racist. What do you say to those people?
Again, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. We'll go to Alice.
Thank you. The number one employer of our people is our people. What I'm saying is, when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. One thing that I know for sure that I have to do over these next 2 years, every single dime that our people have been robbed of, I want to make sure that that is returned 2-3-fold. We have 6 developers that have received the first $30 million for investment. 6 developers. Of those 6 developers, 5 of them are black and 3 are women. BOA Construction received the prime construction contract at O'Hare under my administration. It's the first black prime construction worker company to have a prime contract anywhere in the United States of America.
He's not a racist, but we only hire black people, and we take away licensees for restaurants owned by white people and give them to black people, but we're not racist. It's not racism, because black people can't be racist, don't you know? Only white men can be racist. That's it. If you're a white man, you're a racist Nazi. It doesn't matter if you're one of them Biden administration queer homo straight vegan males whose wife carries their balls around in their purse. Doesn't matter. You're a racist. You're a racist because you're white. He said that out of the 6 construction firms, 5 of them were black and 3 of them were women. I can't do the 3 like I got to do 3 this way. I can't do the 3. Oh, wait a second. That's racist. Oh my God, I'm a racist. I can't, I'm an old man. I can't do, but 5 plus 3 equals 6. And if you disagree, you're a racist. Because the black man declared 5 plus 3 equals 6. Just like a former black president of the United States of America said that he's been to all 57 states and got a few more to go. And the media bent over backwards to explain what he meant when he said that. All 57 states. You see, math is racist. Math is racist, ladies and gentlemen. So get it right. The way I can't do 3 like this anymore. This is the old man way of holding up 3. But yeah, I know. People are stupid. That's the problem. It means 666, blur, blur, blur. You know, if you go read the Bible, that the 666 in the Bible that was supposed to represent the Antichrist isn't what you think. It isn't what you think. It isn't what you it isn't what you think. That's why trust me, you need to stop trying to interpret and predict prophecy and start watching for it, because Satan's going to give you everything you're looking for when he comes, and you're going to fall for it. Here is, he says thumb and two fingers. I can't do that one either. My hand doesn't bend that well. Here, here it is. Here it is. We're in the end times.
Bill Gates declares the end of the smartphone era and unveils its surprising replacement. Replacement? No more smartphones. What's he going to replace it with? Electric tattoo. Wait a minute. We're going to have phones on our hands instead? That looks familiar. That looks extremely familiar. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, such a good idea. Where did I see that? That was in a movie. It was in a couple of movies where they have that on the wrist like that. I'll pass. I'm glad I'm 54 years old. By the time all that technology really kicks in, I'll just be sitting on my porch telling people to get off my lawn. Won't be allowed to have a lawn though, because it's racist, especially in Southern California, to have a lawn. Anyways, you know what day is? You know what day it is? It's Friday. You know what that means? We're coming to the end of the Patriot Mike Show. I know you're sad. But it's okay, because I'll be back Monday. Actually, I will be here Monday, even though it's Labor Day. I've never taken a Labor Day off in my life, ever. Not when I was in the military, not when I had a job, not when I was in the car business, never. Never taken Labor Day off, ever. Just haven't. But it's Labor Day, so enjoy the weekend. 3-day weekend for some of you. Some of you folks will be driving from Kansas City and surrounding areas over in Kansas, driving like a mad maniac this afternoon down to the Lake of the Ozarks, towing your 1.5-ton truck with your big 43-foot camper, towing your 50-foot boat, screaming at 100 miles an hour down 50 highway. Make sure you stop at El Tapatio or North 65 Cafe or Katie's Barbecue there in Sedalia, Missouri. Those are all my friends. Or Goody's Steak Burger, and then go on, and you got to rush down to the lake, get everything set up, get into the water, play real hard to drive home like a freaking maniac on Monday afternoon to get back to work, to pay for all the crap you got. But some of us, we just love what we do, so we'll be fine just sitting here doing nothing. And do yourself a favor. Turn it off. Don't worry about it. Just turn it off. Just turn it off. You could go over to Nueva and support the Patriot Mike Show. I didn't even do a Nueva commercial today, and purchase a couple products for the end of the month. If you haven't signed up as a customer, which is free, go sign up as a customer and buy yourself some Nueva Nitro, and then you'll be buzzing all weekend long. Actually, it probably won't get here till next week. It won't be shipped till next week. Anyways. Thank you for being out there. I appreciate it so much. Take the weekend off. Relax. Don't turn on the tube. Don't turn on. Just take a break. I'll be back Monday. I'll tell you what happened. Patriot Mike is out. Have a great weekend.